Well, my Let's Keep It Real people, this is a big treat. Normally you don't get to see my guest, but I decided I had to have Crazy Fitness Guy on so you could see him. Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Hey.
You know what? I was looking at your bio, and the first thing that stood out in my mind, besides all the things you overcame, was how you feel your unique gifts are a blessing. You know, you probably always did feel like that, but
Nope.
that you feel like your unique gifts are a blessing. So the biggest question that I had from all the people that listen when I told them you're coming on, they wanted to know one thing. How long did it take to get there? That was the biggest question.
Let's see, pretty much half of my life.
Okay. We don't know. How old are you now, Jimmy?
28.
Okay. So it wasn't like the kids were like, what, am I ever going to feel like that? And most of them are probably around 14 to 18. So they have time, right? They have time.
Yeah. I got to the point well, I'll get into that later. It took me quite a bit of time. I had to get out of the public school system in order to feel that way. Because everybody had to label everything.
Yeah. Don't get me started, Jimmy. Don't get me started. All right, before we go any further, I just want to read this short write-up. Jimmy Clare is a motivational speaker. He just got done telling me before we went on, he actually virtually spoke to 750,000 people. He's an autism advocate, author, and founder of CrazyFitnessGuy. And before he started his career as a speaker, you said it was a bumpy road. It was a bumpy road when he was younger. But before we get into that, I always ask my guest one thing. If you were going to think of a word that best could describe like your past 30 days, what word would pop into your head?
Past 30 days?
Yeah, just recently.
A big giant roller coaster.
Okay. All right, now you have to tell me more. Why a big giant roller coaster?
Well, let's just see. I'm currently in college, and I have a term paper due next Friday. I have a project due next week, but that doesn't include the term paper. So I've done 3 projects back-to-back weeks. It's like, really? Yeah. This is insane. Yeah. And then on top of that, I last month I had to move from Pennsylvania to my shore house in New Jersey until the beginning of next year, because we're just downsizing. And I'm like, this is so much fun.
Gee, I don't think you know this, but I live in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So where did you live before?
Yeah, I lived in the suburbs too.
Oh, did you?
Yep. And I was in Ambler, Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, I know Ambler very well. I live in Berwyn, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you ever heard of Berwyn, but it's near Villanova. You may have heard of Villanova.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I live now. And I'm very familiar with the Jersey Shore. So where are you at Jersey Shore?
I'm in Wildwood.
I don't know. What is Wildwood going to be like in the winter? I always wondered that.
I can tell you it's a dead ghost town. If you absolutely, I like to kid with my friends. It's like, well, if you don't like people and you want people to leave you the heck alone, that's the perfect place to go to. I'm not that kind of person, but I don't have anywhere else to go at the moment. So
yeah. I get it. Okay, so when you're there and you said you're in school, are you doing school all online?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it didn't matter if you were moving.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting tired of online classes because the last 3 semesters I've been online, and like, this is not fun.
Yeah. My son is 18 and he's a senior in high school. And actually, he didn't get diagnosed. I love the way you say on the spectrum, on the low end. My son is 18 and he just got diagnosed with autism on the spectrum, which we didn't even know until he was 16. But we switched him into a private school And his first year in private school and his junior year, Jimmy, was all virtual. And it's like he couldn't get to know anybody, and now he's a senior in high school. He's only been there 2 months. And he's like, Mom, I'm making friends, but it's tough making friends. I go, well, you've only known them for 2 months. You know what I mean? It's hard, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like my personality back then, growing up, basically I could talk to adults and I can talk to friends that I met and started to become friends with them, but to any of the other kids that are outside of my group of friends circle, I couldn't talk to them.
That's him. That's him. He could talk forever to adults and everyone's like, what the heck? Full conversations or close friends. But we actually have to work on how do you approach someone, go up to somebody. And if they come to him, he's great. But to actually approach someone, I don't know. I think it's scary for everybody at that age, don't you think?
Yeah, I find that as well. But like now when I have to approach like a company and whatnot or something or someone else, I always I like to tease my friends and family members and say, this company should run because I will talk their ear off and I'll argue them to death to get me part A to part B. And also I'm like, nope, you're not going to win.
You know what? That really makes me feel good, so he can grow out of the stage. I tell him that, it's not going to be like this forever. You keep developing.
I literally was in a turtle shell back then. I was like, no, I'm just going to stay close by.
Yeah.
And now every time when I go out to somewhere, I'm like talking to someone else and it's like, Jimmy, you're talking to strangers. It's like,
yeah,
I don't care. I'm a talkative person.
So when was that change? A lot of the kids want to know that. When did you develop that skill or that self-confidence, or was it gradual?
It was more gradually. I got my parents got me into, well, in school they got me, I was put in this like social group, and at first I hated it because well, let me just say, like, it kind of, I did hate it to a point, but because
I know exactly what you're talking about because my son was in that. Yeah.
Like it interrupted some of my favorite classes. And it's like, can you put it towards my English class where I absolutely hate? And it's like, put it into the classes I hate. And then I'm good. But they got me out of art class. It's like, I like my art class, and I even went back at the person. It's like, I'm not leaving. It's like, you can drag me out of the classroom all you want, but I'm gonna pout and I'm gonna make so much interruption so everyone can start staring at you this way. And I don't think any of those people who I think eventually, I don't know for certain, but after all the like havoc that it caused for my school, they saw eventually putting it to a time that made sense for both that group and me, because it's like, put it at a time when I'm not busy or in a class that I like. But it's like, oh, well, we just pull you out of your art class.
Yeah.
Only time that I can escape, you're gonna put me in a freaking group.
I can relate to that. Oh my God.
I was like, this is not logically thinking, you idiot.
Yeah. Did you get it changed?
Well, I think my parents finally got it changed, and then eventually I started. But then, like in high school, I started going it to more and more.
Yeah.
Eventually, I started applying everything that they taught me in it, and then so the final challenge was for me to get out of that group. I was like, so how many people did you talk to today, and how many conversations and whatnot? And I just went back at the person who was talking it up of all this, and I was like, I did this. It's like, I was like, yeah, see ya, bye. I walked out.
Woohoo!
I was like, see ya, never doing this again.
Oh my
It was
God.
not great joining any of this group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you pushed back that hard, and you figured a way out.
Well, it felt like it was kind of a prison to me because it's like, no one else has to do this.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
like,
I get it.
but when they moved it to a class where I didn't care, I missed it. I was like, okay, I'll leave. Sure. I was
Math
like,
class?
oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I'm out.
I was
Yeah.
like, my English class is like, oh, Jim, you have to read this. Oh, I'm sorry, I got group today. I'll see you, bye. I was like, let me
Oh my
step down the
God.
hallway to the group.
You figured it out. You figured it out. All right, Jimmy. So the sign behind you, I love it. Crazy Fitness Guy. And I don't know if you've known this, I've owned health clubs my entire life. So when I looked out, though, how many times you work out, he works out 6 to 9 times a week. And 3 times a week, I don't know if it's still this way, is kickboxing. And then you do beach bodies on demand. Now, can you keep up that schedule and be in school?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I'm the
All
nut.
right. Okay.
It comes with the name, so.
It comes with the name Crazy Fitness Guy. And I know you posted your routine. When did you get in? One of the biggest questions I always have fake names for the kids. So Billy Bob wants to know, when did you start working out and how long have you been working out 6 to 9 times a week?
I've been working out since, I like to say 2011 to all the way to 2021.
Okay.
And I've never stopped. I kept going. I just stay on 6 days a week because I found after a while I was not getting enough. I was not getting enough calories to maintain. So I was like, okay, I have enough calories for working out 6 days a week, but
Yeah.
I can't do 9 anymore. And I was only doing 9 because I just want to see how far my body could go.
I get it.
To push it to a challenge.
Yeah.
But then I needed to cut back a little bit. But then now I'm gonna admit I didn't work out all last week because I was sick and under the weather.
Okay.
But I'm not one of those people who believes that if I have a fever I'm gonna sweat it out.
Yeah.
I did that once and
It
I
didn't
got
work out.
worse. And instead of being sick for a week or less than a week, I was sick for like 3 weeks. So I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
And like now today I worked out, even though I still have a slight cough and
Yeah.
not really much of a stuffy nose, but kind of still there. But
Yeah, but
the
minor.
fever is gone. It's not like I'm laying in bed anymore.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I can do a beach body on demand workout today. I was supposed to go to karate tonight, but I'm like, I'm not going to karate tonight because I just got back off.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Like trying to do kickboxing and you can't fully breathe through your nose. Yeah, you're gonna become like a heavy bag and it's top over.
Well, your body, I'm so glad you said that, push through. You know the difference between a sniffle and you have a fever. Your body's telling you, slow down. You need a break here. You need a break. So I'm glad you listened to it. Yeah. When I was younger, I was stubborn like that. Oh, I can break through my fever. And it never works. Never worked. Yeah.
And it's like my sensei, he during COVID, he created this rule, and I think he still has it. He's like, if anybody has any sign of a sniffle, he's sending people home, and because he doesn't need anybody have COVID or whatnot. But before COVID, there was people who came in as like, oh, I was getting over being sick, and they still had a runny nose and they still had a cough, and it's like, and he decided to come in. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, no one wants to be partners with you. And it's like, let me tell you, in karate class, you're really in karate class. You're not, and it's like, you can't go take a pause on TV.
Yeah.
You're in there, and it's a 45-minute class. There's 8 rounds of kickboxing. There's and there's a and there's maybe like a 5-10 second break to give you a demonstration of what you're doing next. But unless if it's a true emergency, like you need to use the bathroom,
Yeah.
but and like you're not allowed off the mat until the class is over. And it's like now they'll let you blow your nose if you really need to blow your nose, but if it's like every 2 seconds,
Yeah.
stay the hell home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I can see you were not only considering yourself, but you're considering others. And I know it's hard for you probably to stay home because was I reading you're going for your black belt now? Is that true?
No, I'm working for my black belt, but I'm at the halfway point of getting towards my black belt. And so
It's a long journey, isn't it?
yeah, I started karate when I was living in New Jersey. And then when I moved to Pennsylvania, I had to find another place to do karate.
Yeah.
And I found and when I found out Tiger Schulman's Karate, I was with them for a long time, and then I got my red belt, and they wanted me to do grappling, which I can't do because of I have spinal stenosis in my neck, which makes it hard for me to move this way up and down.
Yeah.
And if somebody hits me, give me a severe whiplash, I can be paralyzed from the head down.
No.
And
yeah, we don't want
that. So I had to take a time off from karate for, I think I took time from like at least I think 10 years. And
wow.
And then when I came back, I had to start all over from the beginning, from the white belt. But the reason why I can do it again is because I don't have to do grappling, and I can get my black belt just in kickboxing. And like with grappling, it's like a form of wrestling, so everyone's tugging on your neck. Where kickboxing, you at least have a few seconds to block, and your head's not going to boom, bobblehead doll.
Yeah. Well, do you wear headgear when you kickbox? Do you have headgear on?
When we're sparring, we do, but if it's just punching the punching bag or just using the mitts and pads, there's no reason because no one's punching at your head. And I'm training with people. I'm training with people who have control, so they know not to hit me in the head.
Gotcha.
I can never be in a ring with an opponent because I can't do that stuff. But
I understand.
But I'm going to do it because it challenges me mentally, physically, and everything else. And I was like, Beach Body on Demand challenges me, but this takes it to the whole next level. And back then when I left, I was 2 belts away from my black belt, and I was like, I can't just end it right then and there. I had this recurring dream over and over again, and when I had it for the 50th time, I was like, I'm going back, and I need to go back. And it's like, as long as you don't quit. It's like, I didn't quit last time. It's like, I can, and this was my dad saying this.
No, I understand.
I quit last time, but it's like, had medical concerns and everything. It's not my fault.
Yeah. Like, you had to find the right format for you. Yeah. By the way, Jimmy, so I taught boxing classes and I did a lot of martial arts, but as soon as they made me go to spar, I was so worried that I would hurt someone that I quit because I just wanted it for the conditioning. And the same thing, the mental, like, so I had to just teach classes. I loved it. I loved hitting the heavy bag and the speed bag and jumping rope. Like, I loved all the conditioning. I especially love boxing, but I didn't want to hurt. Like I was so, forget me. I was like, oh my God, I can't hurt you. And they're like, well, how are you ever going to get in a ring? I'm like, I don't want to get in a ring. I just want to feel good. You know?
Yeah, like everyone at Tiger Showman's, if you don't want to get into the ring, they're not going to get you in the ring. It's like,
Oh, that's great.
I was like it's a challenge to get your black belt, and then you can, and then there's people who get their second degree, third degree. Is some wants to be senseis. I'm not looking to be a sensei. I just wanted my black belt. I want, and maybe I'll even keep going after the black belt because it challenges me in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would have the confidence to even do CrazyFitnessGuy without
karate. I agree. It's so good mentally and physically. I'm so happy for you. So now, did you have to switch? Oh, so you were originally in Jersey at the studio. So now you're back to the same studio?
I'm still at Tiger Showman's in Pennsylvania. I've been with them for many years. Everything is on Zoom. I mean, for me, I'm still with them.
Cool.
Everybody's back in person, but since I moved at the moment, I'm not driving 2 hours to go to karate at the moment. Because that'd be like 3 days. I have karate 3 days a week, and it's like I'm not driving 2 hours. I mean, that's like 6 hours. 8 hours per week. And like, I'm getting my ass kicked in school with so many homework left and right.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
As I'll stay on Zoom temporarily until I move back to Pennsylvania again.
Yeah, I can see your face. You want to move back to Pennsylvania. I see it.
Well, I do because that's where all my friends and karate is. New Jersey is like, there's karate Tiger Showman's here in New Jersey, but I'm not driving 40 miles away to meet a new sensei. I've been with my sensei for years.
I understand that. I really do. Okay, so tell us a little bit about why you went to school. Is it did I read that you were in media?
Yeah, I'm in media studies, and it can lead me into motivational speaking, which I am.
Which you love doing.
Yeah.
And you're good at it.
Well, I've only been on like 102 guest appearances. So,
that's it?
Yeah, only. And it can also lead to journalism, which I would never do because I don't want to spread any spew. So not speaking.
I don't want to spread any spew. I love that.
I'm not speaking politics. I'm just saying I'm not spreading any spew. That's it. I don't have time for politics. So there's too much other things in my head that is far more important than that gross topic.
So stay focused.
Yeah. And it can also lead me to like broadcasting and just to name a few. There's like a whole list of things I could get into. But I like media studies because it's something I'm passionate about because I like speaking. I didn't know I like speaking. I can always get up in front of a class to speak, but my last project I did that was in person, I got up there like easy peasy. I was still kind of nervous because I just felt like some people in the class didn't like me, but I don't know. I misjudge everyone, but
you don't know. It could be your own insecurities. You don't know.
Yeah, and so that was just my own hang up on some stuff, but But I thought it was pretty. I thought I did pretty well, more than I did in my other when I was growing up. When I did a presentation, because I was like, sometimes I had the teacher speak for me, and it's like, I don't know how to do this. Now I'm like, you can't get me to shut up.
Yeah. I know. I love that you said that shift, that when you were younger, you were more in a shell, and then now it's like, bam, you'll talk to strangers. You don't care.
It's like my mom always told me the story, and I like the story, where she was helping her friend's husband go to his chemotherapy, and this was when I was raised in New Jersey,
Mhm.
uh, when I was born, and like I wasn't talking at the normal age when everyone else is talking and making sentences, and my parents were always worried about that. And my mom's friend's husband said to my mom while she was driving very fast to get into chemo and everything, is it don't worry about Jimmy. He's gonna talk, and one day you're gonna regret him ever talking because he won't ever stop. And
Wow.
I haven't stopped since.
Oh my good. And no, like, how old do you think you were when he said that?
I have no idea, but
Yeah,
uh,
young.
yeah, very, very young. I didn't remember him ever saying that, but I
Mhm.
didn't. But my mom always told the stories over the years,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
must
like,
have been young. Yeah.
I was like,
Do you remember
yeah.
when you did start really speaking? Like when you started?
Uh, well, when I was the only word I knew back then was just "ba," and like everything, I sound like a freaking sheep.
I wonder why Ba.
Well, in my opinion, I thought it was I thought it was I was pretty smart though. I was a pretty smart baby because I pointed at every object that I needed
Yeah,
and wanted, and my parents knew exactly what I needed.
yeah.
So even though I wasn't talking, I was like, I'm a pretty smart baby. Hey, you
By the
know,
way, I have a close friend, and he is a brilliant trial lawyer, but he didn't start speaking, and I don't know, really long, like till he was 4 or 5, like which was longer than most babies, anything. And when you asked him later why he didn't, he goes, I didn't have anything to say. He said, I had nothing to say. You know, I got everything I needed. I figured this was a good, solid gig. And I spoke when I needed to say something. I cracked up. It was so
well,
fun.
well, a few of my friends tease me is like, Jimmy, maybe you should be a lawyer. And it's like, I'm sorry, I can't. I don't think I could be a lawyer. I was like, even though I'm very good at arguing a lot of different things,
Yeah.
I don't think I could be a lawyer because some of the laws for the internet is so vague that I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, I can't. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So this company can use this trademark as long as it doesn't do this and do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is logical.
Yeah, but see, not that you should be a lawyer, because you should go into whatever you're really passionate about. And I know you're really passionate about being a motivational speaker. So that's where you should go. But you would make a great lawyer because you would prove why those laws were illogical. I would want to have you as my lawyer. You know what I mean? Because you would be like, are you kidding me? This doesn't even make sense. So
No,
you would be
when I
great
was
at
a
it.
kid, I was not very good at arguing very much stuff because even what I argue is like, he's mean. Yeah, that proves all the evidence in the world.
Well, that's what you think as a kid. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all you
I
need
know,
to
but I'm
know.
saying I can argue. My argument as a kid was terrible. And it's like saying this guy is stupid.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
why is the guy stupid?
Yeah. He's a bully. Okay. Why? So you changed a lot. And though you were saying, getting back to your fitness routine, that you can only work out 6 times a week because you couldn't take in enough calories. But I read that when you were younger, because of the medicines, you were not always that way, right? You were heavier when you were a child.
Yeah, I was nearly obese for my age group, and like I think the borderline was like I think was near 180-ish or at 180-ish. Uh, at least that's what I remember. And
Mhm.
it might have changed now, so don't go quoting me on that. But
Okay.
because this is like
I won't quote you.
this is like I think at least 15 years ago, and so probably already changed. And I I remember my doctor saying to me, "It's like Jimmy, you need to lose some weight." And I'm I remember some of my doctors who had a little bit heavy as well, and say, "Thanks, doc. So can you." Obviously, I never said any of that, uh,
No, but it's right. You're right. You're right.
well, I'm just saying, it's like if you, I never like the people who always tell you, "Oh, you should go do something," when they don't follow their own advice. And it's like,
I
okay,
know.
you know, once you follow your own advice, you can tell me what you on what you
Yeah. Yeah.
on
I
what to do.
understand.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes I even do that to my parents, but like I'm not always arguing with my parents, but sometimes like first off, before you can tell me, well, decompartmentalize of this and that, first you do it, and then I'll do it. As I lead by example. If you can't lead by example, you're not a leader.
Ooh, that's a tough one, because parents, well-meaning parents. Now, here's the little thing. Even though they're not doing it themselves, they love you so much. They want you to learn from their mistakes. So you do get that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we don't always argue. It just
Yeah. But I get what you're saying. You
I
have
like
to walk the walk, talk the talk in order to be able to have impact on your children, at least
yeah.
trying it. You may not always succeed, but you have to attempt it.
Yeah. And so that, like, I've been trying to attempt, like, I got, when I was, like, before I get back into my whole weight loss journey, my,
Yeah.
I had these friends of mine that lived in New Jersey at the time. We were living in New Jersey. I mean, some of them still do, but one of them, when we were younger, technically I was kind of like a parrot, so to speak, that I can remember what people said.
Oh,
And one of our friends, they taught me how to curse. And I mean, it was three
oh,
brothers. They used to, and so I got into a really bad cursing problem.
oh.
And so I've been like trying lately for the past few years to learn how to quit. My dad always thought he was the one who taught me how to curse, and like it was like I was cursing when I was growing up in New Jersey. So it was like that's
Yeah.
far from the timeline where you were thinking.
Yeah.
And so the point of me telling you this is that I've been like, so even though I still slip up here and there, I catch myself and it's like, I meant shoot or
Yeah.
fudge or something
Yeah.
along those lines.
Yeah.
And so I'm like picking up on it, but so I was like, oh, okay. But I seen some people these days, they're just like curse every single sentence, every word in the sentence. It's like, you sound like
It loses impact. Yeah, it loses impact. It's not like, yeah, I don't have anything against swearing, but you got to pick, you know what I mean, when you're going to use it.
Yeah, it's like if you stub your toe against the door, okay, it might come out, but if it's just like every sentence or every other word in the sentence, it's like, okay, you used to just sound like a totally uneducated person.
Yeah. Yeah. I was having this debate with a young man, and I said, listen, I'm not offended that you're swearing, but there are other words to use. And if you're swearing a lot, it's not that you're not educated, but it sounds uneducated. So, because he was getting mad that his teachers were saying he swore too much. I'm like, well, you really can't be swearing in a middle school classroom. You just can't,
Is that fun, Pun?
And he was like, well, why? It's just a word. I go, I get it's just a word, but it's offensive to some people. And it also find other words to use, or they're going to not, you can't stay in the classroom and swear.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like so back to my weight loss journey.
Back to the weight loss journey.
Yeah, one of my so I was nearly obese for my age group. I got bullied on and off from elementary school all the way up to high school in 11th grade.
Because of your weight?
My weight, my head size, just about anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think they also picked up that I was different from others, where I learned differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It's tough. It's tough. Kids are tough.
yeah, it's like, yeah, it's funny. I always felt like my parents always had um, these like extra guidelines for me, like I needed to meet this milestone and meet this and meet that. I was like, you have a lot of freaking criteria. And I was like, I thought the bullies had a lot of criteria on me, but it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I was like, you expect a lot. And,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's funny. I was like, and I get back to the story again, but like I always felt like I have a lot of expectations from me with CrazyFitnessGuy. And
Yeah.
it's like, geez, I don't even have half of the expectations that my parents did from me. It's like, holy crap. It's like
Yeah.
criteria. So yeah, so they bully me for pretty much everything. I'm slightly autistic on the autistic spectrum. I don't have it as severe as others.
Mm.
Uh, it still causes me challenges today, where like I found out after a few years being on Squarespace that they actually had this feature that I didn't even know of, that even though it was right in front of me the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
well, this was great. I was like, and I admit that there's times where I need somebody to literally be Captain Obvious to me. It's like, you might have to spell it out for me,
Mm.
what this is, or you might have to tell me 100 times, 100 different ways
Yeah.
before I am
Yeah.
able to get something.
Yeah.
And and I was in special education classes, and and one thing that I didn't understand about special education classes back then, my schools just shoved everybody in it who needed extra challenges in one classroom, and it's like, well, logically, that doesn't make any sense because everyone learns at each different level, and you don't have a teacher that can teach at every single person's level.
Hmm.
Well, pretty much everyone in that class is screwed because if I learned at a faster pace than the person sitting next to me,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's not fair for that person. It's not fair for me. It's not fair for the person sitting next to me, behind me, etc. And and in my middle school, my I had this one teacher who um, she knew how to teach at everyone's singles level, and
Wow.
like some of the books that we were reading for that the school made us read, she knew that I could read higher level books, and she told me it's like, Jimmy, I'm like, she didn't uh, I don't know how this came up, but while everyone was reading all these school books that the school was putting on us, that was a much, this is going to sound like kind of, it's not going to come out the way I really wanted it to come out
Just
because I don't know the words.
put it
And
out.
so if anybody who's autistic listen to this, I'm not trying to be offensive. So um, they, I was reading at a higher level than other people in the class, and
Mhm.
so I was able to read the Harry Potter books, and I got so engrossed with the Harry Potter books that I started, because the bullies started to taunt me during lunch,
Mm.
and if I didn't have my friends with me at lunch to help me uh, get me to just walk me to class to make sure. And some of my friends were in my class, my special education classes, but if I didn't have anybody to help me stay away from the bullies, I made I got my teacher allowed me to go into her class early
Mhm.
and read my books as long as I didn't interrupt her lunch. But
Yeah.
but if she didn't have anybody in the room and she just wanted to start a conversation, she could, and we did. But I was reading. I remember she knew how. She challenged me at every single point. She so somehow I got into all the Harry Potter books, and because she knew I could read higher than what the
Mhm.
school is giving us material wise. And I'm sitting there every single time in her classroom, just reading it before the bell rings for the next period and the next class. And she actually told me, "It's like, Jimmy, time to put away your book now." And it's like, I never thought as a teacher I would say that. And it's like, there's a first time for everything.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
that was where you would go. And I totally understand this. And I can relate to some of these stories, even from listening to my son, that this teacher understood you and how your brain worked. And she pushed you in a different way, which was amazing. Because I truly believe that I mean, you and I were talking a little bit about labels, right? And I understand it because sometimes you need to have a diagnosis so you know how they learn and how they treat. But I find even in that label, so many people's brains are operating so differently and so uniquely. And usually, when, like what you said, how you read at such a high level, and then you were saying sometimes it takes you 100 times to learn this one thing about Squarespace. That's usually what happens when your brain is so brilliant and bright in this one area. It can't be that way for everything. You know what I mean?
I wish.
It's true, though. I mean, when you're so bright and you can see you have a lot of people skills, interaction skills, and emotional intelligence skills, you can't have all the other ones too. You just can't. It just doesn't work that
Unless
way.
if I was Google.
And I remember just, because I do a lot of work with kids, just saying that your brain and you came in here with superpowers. I don't care who you are. And if you were built any differently than you were, you wouldn't have your unique superpowers. And it seems to me, because I'm looking at the time and I'm like, I could talk to you forever. I love the fact that you feel that way now, but it wasn't always that way. So kids out there that are listening, or parents that are listening, I want to go more into that because it was a rough road. I mean, it was a lot of things going on with your health and bullying and weight and your diagnosis. And somehow you came out the other side to realize you're incredible.
Somehow.
Somehow. I don't know when the turning point was, but I do know this. The
I pulled a rabbit
fitness,
out of the hat.
yeah, the fitness really helped you. I mean, it absolutely built your confidence up, and the right mentors or the right teachers. Were you at a public school or a private school?
Public.
So did you love your education? Did you like your teachers? I mean, I know I heard about some of it, but were you happy with it for the most part?
No.
No.
And the reason why there's some of it I liked. There's some of it I did not. A lot of it I did not like.
Gotcha.
And I like certain parts of it here and there. Like I like my 7th grade teacher who was also my 8th grade teacher. And like when I was having a bad day and whatnot, she knew exactly I was having a bad day. When I was skipping the bus because the bullies were on my bus, she knew that there was something wrong because I was skipping the bus on purpose, and she knew something was out of my routine, and she pinpointed perfectly and say, "Okay, did you read my mind? Because that's sick and that's gross and that's weird."
No, it's great. Oh my goodness. I love the fact that all these years later, she made such an impact on you.
Yes, to be honest, she was actually she was also my tutor for my math classes in college. And it's funny, there was just a few days where I was just feeling so burnt out and everything. I didn't even have to say one word. She comes right in where we were meeting, and she's like, "Jimmy, you look like you're like exhausted." And it's like, "How did you figure that one out?" And it's like, "Is it written all over my face?" Or and
Yeah.
she's like, and like, let's just say we just know each other from one too many years. And
Uh,
it's like, yeah, let's just say that.
I think it's so important. I mean, like you said, you didn't like a lot of things, but there were some teachers that you did bond with.
And
And
like I still have, and there's a lot of other teachers. Like I had my gym teacher in high school. I liked him. I mean, I like the gym teachers back in my middle school as well, because uh, like the days uh, when I finished lunch early, when I didn't have any friends. I mean, if like my friends were missing in action because they were staying behind to get extra work done during lunch, or they got in trouble or whatever it was. I don't think I was in trouble or whatever, but or maybe they were sick that day. Uh, they let me come into the gym and just shoot hoops until lunches was over. And
Mhm.
um, and my other and my gym teacher in high school, he was cool because what I really liked about my gym teacher is that we had a bonding relationship of basketball. He was a huge Duke fan, and I was a huge Duke fan, and
Oh,
we talk a lot about sports, basketball, and football, and we were and there I got straight a lot of A's and B's. I don't think, I mean, I got a lot of A's. I think there was a few semesters I got a few B's. Not semesters, but I mean, marking periods where I got a few B's. I got one F because there was a jerkish teacher. I'm not even going into that story, but during my but like when everyone else, I in 12th grade, I got all straight A's. I didn't have to take any finals whatsoever. Is that you really had to bomb every single final to fail. And I'm like, so I'm excused? And it's like, yep. And I was like, woohoo. So when everyone else had to take finals,
yeah.
I got to go to my art classes. I went to, even even if it wasn't even class time, it's like, you can go to art. My gym teacher say, yeah, you go shoot hoops if you want. And it's like, I'll lock the door for you for the basketballs, and I just shoot hoops. And sometimes the gym teacher was available, and we just shoot hoops together. And at the end of and like, because I was such a huge Duke fan, he got me 2 Coach K autographs, and he got me a few Duke posters, and like he knows a buddy of his who works at Duke, and he got me the stuff, and it's like, holy crap.
That's so
And
nice. Are you still a Duke fan now? Are you a big Duke fan now?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking for their opening game because it's Coach K's last year, and it's like, I need to know. I gotta find somebody to get me freaking tickets to home games. Come on, sign me up there. Give me a ticket. I need to go see that.
Request it now, Jimmy. Request. He needs tickets to the Duke game.
Well, it's my. I love the team. I've never gone. I would love to visit a campus one day. I mean, I can never
Yeah.
afford to go there, but it's a.
Somehow you'll get there.
But somehow one day I would love to be able to see the court in person, not just
Yeah.
on TV.
I have a feeling it's going to happen. Jimmy, we don't have that much more time, but I want to ask. Boo! I know it's been fun, right? I'm so
Part
glad.
two.
I'm so glad we got to do this on Zoom. But let me ask you about the Crazy Fitness Guy, because I want to get into why you started that and how they can find you. Just tell them everything, why you started Crazy Fitness Guy, podcast, website, the whole bit, because he has his own podcast, peeps.
So I started Crazy Fitness Guy back in 2017 on April 12th. Why didn't I just say April 12th? Whatever.
Because you knew it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just said it backwards anyway.
That's okay.
And so I started it after I come into a coming to an end of one of my semesters in college. I don't know. I don't know if it was the first or second one. Maybe it was first. I forget which. But I like my English teacher in college. He took me under his wing because I told him after the first day of class, I was actually running late to the class because I couldn't figure out the hallways in my college because there were so many wraparounds and like it goes in a circle. And so, and there was like two different hallways and I didn't know that it actually wrapped around. So one hallway led to a bunch of other classrooms, etc. And so I got confused and it's like, okay, and I was confused because I was late to my first one because it's like, okay, which one's first, this one or this one? And I was not organized whatsoever. But since it was the first day of class, I was so like 30 minutes late to my first one, and my teacher's like, she's like, don't worry, it's your first day of class, and I'm not penalizing anyone.
Oh, cool.
It's like it will never happen again. I'm totally lost. I'm totally frustrated with myself, and so I was late to my English class, and my English teacher's like, I didn't even notice. You didn't even notice? The clock is right up above the door. And like, and so I told him the truth. Is like I don't know how to write an essay.
Yeah.
I had English classes in high school, but I was in special education classes, and they didn't care about how you format stuff. They just cared, just write something.
Yeah.
So I knew how to write something, but I didn't know how to put it in APA bullcrap format. I hate the formats. And so and once I told him this, he's like, that's okay, I'll help you. And I was like, okay, cool. And so at the end of each single class he worked with me on how to, and he looked at the revision by revision. And I kid you not, my first attempt at an essay, it was terrible. It looked like a treasure map inside of a treasure map. Even the leprechaun for the Lucky Charms commercial, he couldn't find the gold at the end of the rainbow. It was terrible. Even Captain Jack Sparrow couldn't read the freaking treasure map. So the reason why I created CrazyFitnessGuy was because he told me at the end of the semester and told the whole class, the only way to become a better writer, you have to write each and every single day. And I was like,
ooh,
how do you do that? I don't want to write on a piece of paper. I don't like Microsoft Word. I don't like Google Docs, because how consistent am I going to be with that?
Yeah.
If I don't like something. And so I decided, okay, let's make a website. And my first mistake I've ever made with the website was starting with WordPress. And I always like to say this as a disclaimer, so if WordPress ever listens to any episodes, I'm not bashing them at all. It is, I have never been a patient person with technology when stuff breaks, even though when I used to have a boatload of time and extra time, I did work through stuff, and I thought it was cool that, hey, I fixed my own problem, but I absolutely hate doing it. And WordPress, and I don't mean WordPress.com, I mean self-hosted WordPress, where I got into so many technical aspects of it. I was working 90 plus hours a week, and my brain was like, this absolutely sucks, and I wanted to bash it over with my keyboard. And
okay then.
And after the first year of doing that for 90 plus hours a week, I was pretty much like exhausted early September-ish. And I remember August, and I was telling my mom, I was like, if I'm gonna keep doing this, I got to switch again. And I was like, I already switched like 100 different hosting providers.
Yeah.
and I made the switch to, even though it was a little bit more money than I wanted to pay, I was like, well, maybe I just got to something premium at least. And it's like, and when I said that, when I said we do all the technical stuff for you, it's like, sign me up. I was like, and so I decided I signed up. I went to Squarespace. Sure, there's a lot of things that I had to find different workarounds for. I had to pay for a few extra things to do this and do that, but I've been up and running for 4 years. Even though I had some hard times with them, and I might have and probably did put my foot in my own mouth, but probably at least 100 times with them, because I said some stuff that I probably shouldn't have said. I did apologize though, and but they haven't kicked me off of their platform yet. So
well, that's good.
well,
I use Squarespace too.
Well, they probably like me because I at least admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And so I've been up and running for 4 years. And so basically the reason I created Crazy Fitness Guy was just because I want to continue practicing writing. And so instead of me just practicing writing myself, I'll practice writing and showcase my work and help people along the way.
And inspire them.
Yeah. And though it was geared to just working at the first time, because when I was going to college, when I first started college, I was going to be a personal trainer. And then I jumped 5 different majors.
That's okay.
And
that's okay.
And then when so when I got into motivational speaking, I knew I had to shift the change on the website, but of what I wanted to do with the website. But I knew I still wanted to inspire people, and I said, okay, I can't change the name because I'm already outranking. Geez, no, I forget the guy's name.
It's okay.
I'm already outranking the Wikipedia page of the crap. Oh, no.
We can always add it. We can always add it to the link.
Yeah, I'm ranking the there's used to be famous used to be a famous personal trainer who was 70s or 60s or 80s, and
oh God, I know who you mean too, but I can't think of it. Yeah, I know who you mean.
It's gonna be right. When somebody Googles the Crazy Fitness Guy, you're gonna be able to Crazy Fitness Guy. You'll know who it is, and I'm gonna figure out once Richard Simmons. There you go. I know. Yeah.
Everyone knows Richard Simmons. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was outranking his Wikipedia page, and so I was like, I can't change the branding now. I was like, if I'm already outranking a Wikipedia page, no, I'm not changing. And so that's and so once I got to the 3rd year of Crazy Fitness Guy, I knew I wanted to, instead of just I wanted to continue blogging, but one of my professors who I have this year in college, she told me, is like, Jimmy, you need to start a podcast. And I was like, you're killing me, professor. And I was like, I'm only one person, right? And I was like, I don't have somebody else. I don't have somebody else. I would love somebody else, but I don't. And she said to me, is like, but Jimmy, is like, the only person the only way that people are going to recognize your voice and get your voice out there is by a podcast. And so I know you're right, professor, but you're killing me. And so I eventually started the podcast in my 3rd year of Crazy Fitness Guy, just because I wanted to expand. Yeah. And so once I expanded, I was like, I'm totally nuts. So between myself and Crazy Fitness Guy, we have 100+ platforms. Not even kidding. And even though that you see on the front end of the website, oh, that's 100. On the back of it is 100.
Yeah.
in
Yeah. I know
total.
what you mean. I know what you mean.
And what's really funny, it took Crazy Fitness Guy around like 3 years to start outranking the Wikipedia page. But then because I wouldn't say I haven't become a master at SEO,
Oh.
but when I got familiar with SEO and started branding my own self, I started. There's a soccer player named James Clare. I am his Wikipedia page too, and say there can only be one Jimmy Clare, and that's me. Everybody else is an imposter.
Well, Jim, I probably need your help, Jimmy, but good for you.
Oh, and
Good
by the
for you.
way, the podcast is called Crazy Fitness Guy Healthy Living Podcast. And
Yes. Yeah.
it shows up
I'm
on the
glad you
first
got
page.
that in there. Get it in there. PR, baby. You got to be your PR. All right, Jimmy. We have to go. We have to wrap it up. I'm so glad we did this. I'm so glad I got
Part two.
yes, I'm so glad we got to see you. And my Let's Keep It Real people, I know you're going to say, Jimmy kept it real. Is there anything you didn't get in, Jimmy, that you want to add in before we sign out?
There's probably like 1,000, but I'll save for next time.
Okay, you said, thank you. And I think they know how to find you, by the way. And by the way, the name is brilliant. I love it. I love Crazy Fitness Guy. Love that.
There's some people say that's too long. It's like too long. It's like I've seen the bowling alley that I bowl at weekly. Their name is way too freaking long.
Crazy Fitness Guy is not long. You remember it. And that's what matters. You remember Crazy Fitness Guy. All right, my Let's Keep It Real people. I know you're going to want to share this, rate this, like this. We're very grateful, even if you just share it with one person that you know it can empower and impact. And you know what I'm going to say. Until next time, toodles. Bye, Jimmy. Thank you.